Get it while it's hot, the Dude Mungus 3000.
What do you want from me?
No monkey. No monkey.
Hey, yo, Dude and Dudette, say what up? It's your boy, Dude Mungus. Yes, sir, we are back again, and I know you guys have been waiting on this daggum episode. The Arata exhaust has made it in. The Arata exhaust has been installed. The Arata exhaust has been dyno tuned on the bat. So we're about to jump into these numbers, but just so I can make sure we are clear and I clarify a couple things, because there actually were a few questions about the last video I did about the Stinger stacks. If you haven't watched that video, I'll leave the link up here. Definitely go watch that and check that out. There are a few questions about that video. So only thing that's been changed about this bike, right? Though every part that I'm testing, every dyno number that you're seeing is from a fully tuned bike. So when we did the Stinger stacks, the only thing we changed was the velocity stacks, and then we tuned it for the Stinger velocity stack. So it was tuned on the carbonsmith stacks, it was tuned on the turn 13 stacks, and then it was tuned with the Stinger stacks. And now we're jumping into the bike that now already has the Stinger stacks in them. It was tuned for the Stinger stacks and the Akra exhaust with the SE project exhaust. Now it is tuned with the Arata exhaust. Hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that is not confusing to anyone. So every spec that you see is from literally a fully tuned bike. We're not going from, you know, a stock bike with nothing done to it to, you know, a full yeet bike. No, everything is the best it could have been in its form or whatever. And these numbers we're about to see is from a bike that has already been tuned, and not just any old bike, you know. And shout out to my sponsor, Stage3 MotoWerks. Shout out to them, because when I joined Stage3, he was like, yo, Mungus, you with Stage3, we got to do stuff different, bro. We going for the top of the top, right? So, and there's nothing wrong with anybody's parts. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody's anything. All I'm saying is when I joined the Stage3 squad, he was like, yo, we're doing the best of the best. So the numbers you're going to see are from a bike that had Akra exhaust on it, right? With the SE project can. So these ain't like and it's nothing against nobody, and I ain't hating on nobody, but it's not just some no name, you know, I made it in my garage part. Like, this is from, something's in my eye. This is literally from top tier countries. Not countries, top tier companies, right? Akrapovic, we know this company. SC Project, we know this company. And to have a full tune, and then we install the Arata, and we go above that, ooh, I'm giving away the episode. But, yo, this is, I'm getting excited. I'm getting tongue-tied. Just know, this is on top of an already fully bolted on and tuned bike that we're getting gains. So when you seen the Stinger stacks, it wasn't just Stinger stacks versus a no-name, no nothing that haven't been tested. No, these were Stinger stacks versus a very reputable company, and then we got some gains. So we're doing the same thing here. So without further ado, we go jump into it. I just don't know which graph I want to show you guys first, so we're gonna jump into it. And also, right before we get into that, gotta give a shout out to my homie Big Baller Brand. I got some really cool people that I've came across since I've been doing Dude Mungus, and they just help your boy out, man. So Big Baller Brand, always making sure your boy stays on the scrum diddly, and to make it look like I'm working out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm getting the gym. All these guys doing these gym challenges, I need to join in on it because your boy need to lose some weight, and I need to get fit again. You know, we having a birthday this year. You know what? I'm battling on. You know what? Let's go ahead and jump into this episode. All right, dude and dudette, say what up. It's your boy Dude Mungus. We're back. Let's go ahead and jump into this episode. So just so you guys have an understanding again of what's going on, the red line is going to be my previous setups. So the red line is going to be the Akra header with the SC Project can with the carbonsmith velocity stacks. Again, the red line is going to be the Akra exhaust, Akrapovic exhaust with the SC Project can with the carbonsmith velocity stacks. The green line is going to be, again, the same exhaust, which is the Akrapovic header with the SC Project can. The only difference is we have the Stinger stacks installed on the green line. Again, the green line is the Akrapovic header, SC Project can, and the Stinger stacks installed. Okay, so the blue line is the Arata Raceworks exhaust with the Stinger stacks, right? And again, on all of these lines, the red line, the bike was fully tuned on the red line. The green line, the bike was fully tuned with the parts that was on the green line. And then the blue line, the bike was fully tuned on this. All this was done all at the same time. The only difference, only delay you had was installing the parts. Okay, I just want to make that clear. The delay was installing the parts. Other than that, everything was done around the same time. Okay, just want to make sure that's clear. So let's go ahead and dive into this chart, man. So we're going to start, excuse me, we're going to start with max numbers. That's where we're going to start, and then we'll start telling, because we all know, at least the way I believe, max power, max torque does not tell the whole story. But let's go ahead and start with it. So previous setup before I made any changes. So previous setup with the Akrapovic exhaust, the SC Project can, and the carbonsmith velocity stacks. Max power was at 181.04 horsepower. Drop down to the bottom. So again, so it's going to be the same exhaust setup, except for we added the Stinger stacks, and we actually lost 0.77 of a horsepower, which brought us down to 180.6 horsepower. And then we jump over to the blue line, which is the Arata exhaust, then the Stinger stacks, and we jump to 182 horsepower, 182.39 horsepower is what we jump to. Y'all know me, I am a stickler for time, man. Stickler for time. So we start here, original setup with the carbonsmith stacks and the Akra exhaust. We made our max power in 3.55 seconds. 13.55 seconds, excuse me. And then we move on, actually both the next line. So with the Stinger stacks, we made it just a little bit sooner, so 13.32. We jump over to the torque, and we have, again, at the top red line, 80.12 foot-pound of torque. Blue line, 82.8 foot-pound of torque. Green line, 81.3 foot-pound of torque. And y'all know me again, I am a stickler for time. So you're gaining your torque almost half a second faster, but we'll jump into that a little bit later because this next graph is going to blow you guys away. So like I said in the last video, I forgot to have him keep the cursor where it was. So I just want to show you guys what this bike is doing as far as the horsepower chart goes. So you take the red setup, which is again the Akra header with the SC Project exhaust and the carbonsmith velocity stacks. At 6,500 RPM, we are at 83.25 wheel horsepower. All right. And then we switched to the green line when we added the Arata, we switched to the green line where we added the stinger stacks. And we jumped from 83.25 horsepower to 88.91 horsepower. And this is all at 6,500 RPM. So we gained like we gained 5.5 horsepower, a little bit over 5.5 horsepower just from adding the stinger stacks at 6,500 RPM. That's major. That's major from a drop-in part. That's pretty major. And the drop-in part that takes you 30-45 minutes to install, that's major. But I'm not gonna rant. We'll get on that a little bit later. And then you add in the Arata exhaust, which is the blue line, and we go from 88.9 horsepower to 91.18. So these are just gains on top of gains. So you go from 88.91 horsepower to 91.18. That's a little bit over 2 horsepower you gaining right there. And then if you take it from the previous setup to everything that I got, everything new, which is the stinger stacks and the SE Project exhaust, dude, we're a little bit over, we're almost at 8 horsepower. Almost 8 horsepower gained from the original setup. So the combination of stinger stack and Arata exhaust, and then let's come over here and look at the torque numbers. So previous setup, again, with the SE Project can, with the Akra exhaust, with the carbonsmith velocity stacks tuned 6,500 RPM, we're at 67.3 foot-pound of torque. And then you add in the stinger stacks, we jump to 71.86 foot-pound of torque. And I mean, that's just insane. We just jumped 4.5 foot-pound of torque at 6,500 RPM. That's pretty daggum insane. And then you come up to the blue line, which I'm keep bumping this because I got my hat on, but you come up to the blue line, which you jump up to 73.71 foot-pound of torque. So you done gain another 2 foot-pound of torque, and that's at 6,500 RPM. And again, this just carries. It just carries its way through. It just carries its way. The data is the data, man. The data is the data, and you cannot argue with that. I mean, I really hope you guys are seeing what it's doing at 6,500 RPM, but you got to look. This just carries through all the way to about 11,000, well, about 10.5. And this right here, which on the next graph you'll see a little bit better. So this right here, where you see the gains kind of close off, I believe that's the transition of the velocity stacks opening up, because once it happens, you start to get your gap back again. So it starts to open back again. So at the end of the day, if we're talking about peak power, which y'all know me, peak power does not tell the whole story. If we're talking about peak power, the stinger stacks with the Arata exhaust came out on top. If you guys remember from the last video, and actually you can even see it from here, we don't even have to jump back to the last video, when we had, again, the same exhaust setup. So Ixnay, Oxnay, the blue line, forget about the blue line. So you take the red line, which was my previous setup, again, the Akra header, the SE Project can, with the carbonsmith dimpled stacks. We made 181.04 horsepower, maximum horsepower. And then we added in the stinger stacks, and we made 180.6. So we lost 0.77 horsepower on that. Max power for max power, we lost it. But you turn in and add in the Arata exhaust, and we gained back more than what we lost. If max power is just your thing, Arata exhaust is actually making more peak power than the Akra and the SE Project can with the carbonsmith exhaust. So it's pretty daggum dope. So this next graph, I hope it blows you guys away like it blew me away. So let's take a look at this next graph, man. Whew, time chart. Goodness daggum gracious, okay? 3 seconds into the run, this is a time chart. 3 seconds into the run, we were at 131 horsepower. 131 horsepower, 131.6 horsepower, right? Then we add in the stinger stacks. At that same 3 seconds, we are at 139.87 horsepower. We just gained 7 horsepower, a little over 7 horsepower. Excuse me, we just gained a little over 8 horsepower right here. A little over 8 horsepower right here. Let me get my math together. We just gained a little over 8 horsepower right here. And that's just from adding in the stinger stacks. 3 seconds into the run, I'm 8 horsepower more than what I had with the carbonsmith velocity stacks. I don't, bro, that's insane. I know, again, we'll flip back to this. I know this number, you know, ain't saying 8 horsepower, right? Max horsepower to max horsepower going along this graph, yeah, you know, here it's not 8 horsepower. But when you're talking about time, 3 seconds into this run, I have 8 more horsepower than what I had previously. That's huge on a bike. A car, you might not notice 8 horsepower so much, but on the bike, 8 horsepower is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But we're not done, because you see there's a line above this, and the gap is bigger. Bro, okay. You get right here, right? The same amount of seconds, 3 seconds into the run. Now we add on the Arata exhaust with the stinger stacks. 149 horsepower even, which means we gained 10 horsepower over this, 10 horsepower over just having the stinger stacks. We gained almost 20 horsepower at 3 seconds into the run. 3 seconds into the run, we gained almost 20 horsepower over the Akra exhaust with the SC Project can and carbonsmith exhaust until you jump to the Arata full exhaust with the stinger stacks. We gained almost 20 horsepower 3 seconds into the run. I'm gonna just pause the video right here. I'm gonna just let you think about that. 20 horsepower we gained right there. I mean, I probably could shut the video off right here. I probably could shut the video off right here. Do the stinger stacks and the Arata exhaust work? Proof is in the pudding, bro. The red line is tuned, fully tuned, is as good as it can be. A Akrapovic header, SC Project can, carbonsmith dimple stacks, as good as it can be. And B at TaylorMade he's a beast. And it's the thing I love about TaylorMade's dyno. And I'm not trying to get off on a tangent because I'm gonna get back into this. But I'm gonna just let y'all look at this graph while I'm talking. The thing I love about TaylorMade is known in Georgia for having a heartbreaker dyno. What does that mean? It is going to break your heart because you're going to come to the dyno. Oh, my bike makes 200. My bikes make 200 plus over here, over there, over there. And you come to TaylorMade dyno and you're going to be making 180 horsepower. And you'll be like, dang, your heart is broken. And it's consistent. TaylorMade is consistently breaking hearts. Consistently. It ain't like I went to the dyno and I was like, oh, I'm making 180 today. Oh, but last time I went there, I was at 195. Oh, I went back and I'm at 186. Oh, I went there, I'm almost at 200. No. TaylorMade, you making them same heartbreaking numbers. Bro, like, okay, right? I have a 2022 Suzuki GSX-R1000 and in full yeet mode with the best of the best at the best the bike is right now with the Arata exhaust and the stinger stacks. I'm making 182.39 horsepower. These are 200 horsepower bikes. They're over 200 horsepower. Bro, to the wheel, I'm making 182 horsepower on TaylorMade's dyno. Right? Bro, it is what it is, man. The numbers do not lie. I don't care so much about this peak number. I care more about the bike running right. And I'm telling you, man, on TaylorMade's dyno, if you actually hit the 190s or hit the 200s, you can be confident that your bike is literally making the power. So I'm going to get off that tangent. I'm sorry, just had to give a shout out to TaylorMade for doing what they do. But this is almost 20 horsepower over my original setup. You know what? Forget the original setup. We already know the stinger stacks get down with the get down, okay? Over the stinger stacks, I am 10 horsepower over the stinger stacks. On top of that, I'm 10 horsepower over at this 3 second mark. I'm making 10 more horsepower than what I was then. I don't really know how you argue with that. I don't know, you know, I know time is probably not something that's huge in the world, but this is huge. And I know I had a couple of comments talking about, you know, I'm not for sure how this will work for road racing and all that jazz, and I get it. I know road race is a, you know what, when you do the hit, you start the race right here, you're only in this part once, and that's first gear. After first gear, some guys start in second gear. So after this point, you're never here again. You're up here. So we gonna come back to this torque, but let's go ahead and go to the other part of the graph, right? So for this time run to do this dyno pull, to get it done, right? The Arata exhaust and stinger stacks finish off. 5.3 seconds. They finish off right here. My previous setup finished off at 5.7 seconds. Look how far away that is. But look how much faster I get to my maximum power, which is more. And I get there that much faster. If I'm getting here at 5.5 seconds, and then you're getting your max power, which is less than my max power, but you're getting it at 5.73 seconds, you know, I'm kind of deucing out on you. I'm sorry. I'm kind of deucing out on you. By the time you get your max power, yeah, you hold yours out longer. You do hold it out longer. But I just made more power than you, and I made it faster, which means I done clicked to the next gear, and you're still trying to get to your maximum power, and I done clicked the next gear already. We're talking about almost half a second. It's not half a second, but it's almost half a second. And I done clicked the next gear, and you're still waiting to get to your max power. All I'm doing is talking about data. Again, I'm not talking about anyone's product because everyone literally makes a good product. And this is actually a good time to be in motorcycles because this is just going to push manufacturers to make better and better and better products. Excuse me. And us as consumers, we're going to win. We're going to ultimately win because the products are going to get better and better and better. And then you add in the Arata exhaust on top of that. This is where I'm going to live. This is where I'm going to live in the race. So on top of getting, I'm really hoping you guys are seeing this graph. On top of getting 20 horsepower more than what I had in this amount of time. And this is from when the dyno run starts. This is off the rip. I have 20 more horsepower in this amount of time than I had before, right? So this, the hit, I get the hit. I got a strong hit. I got to get that rider mod because it's going to be a handful. It's going to be a handful. But then you talk about the race, my max power, I'm living right here, which is above what it was previously. So for you guys saying you don't think it'll be that good in road racing, I think you need to reconsider. Now, again, we are going to street test these to find out for sure. But just off of the data, it says I should be accelerating much faster. Let's go to torque. Which is, yeah, it's just stupid, right? It's just stupid. So previously, I was at 77 foot-pounds of torque at 3 seconds. And then you add in the Stinger stacks, I jumped up to 81.16. And then you add in the Arata exhaust, I jump up to 82.5. Bro, like, I don't know what else it needs to show. I don't know what else I need to show or talk about. So you guys will know, like, these literally work. And I really hate making these long episodes because I don't like to hold you guys that long. But I just have to sit and explain what the heck is going on here. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Y'all know I'm a stickler for time. Previous setup, 3.44 seconds. Setup with just the Stinger stacks with the same exhaust as the previous setup, 3.12 seconds. Full setup, full yeet, Arata exhaust with the Stinger stacks, 2.87 seconds to max torque. That's, dude, I really don't even know what to say. I really don't even know what to say. This time chart really opened my eyes because you look at this chart and again, people just go max power to max power and you're like, it's only a couple, which I got this on the last video. It's only a couple horsepower. Max power don't tell the story, bro. This don't tell you 3 seconds into the run. This don't tell you 3 seconds into the run, I'm 20 horsepower over what I had before. 3 seconds into the run. Like, this graph don't tell you that. This graph just tell you, oh, you got 6, you got 7, you got 8, whatever. It don't tell you, hey, at 3 seconds, you got 20 more horsepower than what you had before. It don't tell you that. This is massive. This is massive, bro. Time makes a difference, man. Time makes a difference. Now, what we have to do is figure out, again, rider mod. Can we control this? And this is where Evan from EJR comes in play because I gained a ton of mid-range. And he's going to have to help me. Yo, help me out with this chassis. I'm going to work on my ride mod. You help me out with this chassis. Let's get it figured out. Oh, let me go because this episode's getting real long. All right, let me go. Last chart. I'm just about to fall out, bro. I wish y'all could see me behind the camera. I am just about to fall out. So this stack, this graph right here, this is my last graph. Yeah. So this graph right here, literally, I just wanted to do the previous setup versus the full yeet setup now. Previous setup, again, in red. The blue line that you're seeing is the Arata exhaust with the stinger stacks. I mean, do I even need, this ain't a time chart. This is just straight up horsepower chart. I mean, do I even need to explain what's going on here? We're talking 8 horsepower this entire time. 8 horsepower. So off the hit, you have 8 horsepower more. Whack, let's go. 8 horsepower more. Again, this right here, where it dips in, because the torque does it too, I honestly believe this is where the stinger stacks transition from long to short. I believe that's the transition. But as soon as the transition stops, guess what? We start gaining again. And again, look at this chart. Max power with the Arata exhaust and stinger stacks, I get there at 13.32 seconds. So I'm right there. Max power with the previous setup, I get there at 13.5. That much sooner, I'm getting there, right? And again, this might not be good for road racing. So this is my hit. Actually, this is my hit. And then we go into the power, right? And I'm shifting at 13.3. Let's just say I drop back down to 11. Let's just say, I know it doesn't drop down that far, but let's just say I drop back down to 11,000 when I shift. Even then, I am still above what my previous setup was. I'm still above it. So again, for you guys thinking it might not be that good for road racing, I think you might need to reconsider. Because you got gains up top. Even though I know a lot of people look at max number, peak power, and you be like, nah, Mungus, it ain't that. But this whole time, I'm actually more than what the previous setup was. And I know you guys are saying, nah, Mungus, what about, what about this, what about that? So let's do it where let me get the graph. I'm trying not to go back because this episode is getting long. But on the time chart, again, carbonsmiths make more power and they make it later. They make more power and they hold it out the flat curve a little bit longer. Stinger stacks, 0.77 less, but they make it half a second faster. So you got your carbonsmiths, which max power will come here, and you got the stinger stacks, which makes it here. So if I'm shifting here, let's just say I drop back down to here. This entire time, I am still making more power than what the carbonsmiths did. It's just the carbonsmiths take a little bit, they make more power, but they take longer to get there. But if I stay here where I shift, what can you do, right? 5,500 RPM right here. If I stay here, what can you do, right? Yeah, you're gonna shift out here because you got carbonsmith. But if I'm right here and I'm shifting right here, I am always above what the carbonsmiths are doing. Again, I don't want this episode to be too long. You guys digest the data as I'm giving it to you. But I'm just saying, you guys thinking it's not gonna be good for road racing, I think you need to reconsider. This time chart is a thing of beauty. I think you guys need to reconsider. I hope I covered everything. If I missed something, guys, definitely chime in. Just ask me some questions. I will be happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. Also, if you guys are interested in this Arata exhaust, same as last time, go to factorysuperbike.com. I will leave the link in the description. Make sure you use discount code DUDE and save yourself some money on this exhaust. Arata came in talking a big game, and they backing it up. What I'm seeing, they backing it up. You need to look into this Arata exhaust. I know there's other companies. You got the Akra SE Project, Termioni. You got all these other people, right? Well named, like household brands. Y'all need to look into Arata exhaust. And they just got a shipment in and stuff, so they have inventory right now. So if you're looking for Arata exhaust, you need to go ahead and get it now because, look, Gap, what my man Dr. Gap? Gap, tell him. Get it wide side, bro. Get it wide side. But anyway, I do not want to hold you guys too long. Again, if you're interested in this exhaust, go to factorysuperbike.com, which I will leave in the description. Use discount code DUDE and save yourself some money. Hey, look, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. You know who it is. It's your boy, DudeMungus.
Namake. Boom Shakalaka. Thank you for watching, dudes. Namake. Namake. Thank you for watching, dudes. Namake.